Are there people in your personal or professional life who have traits or behaviors that you consider unhealthy? If so, do you wish you would have known how to spot them sooner? Welcome to the Dr. Georgiana Relationship Series, the 14 Types of People to Avoid. In part 4 of this series, I pointed out the many warning signs of the controlling person that will bring emotional unrest to your life. In this segment, I'm going to discuss the immature individual. This segment is in response to an email I received from Sylvia from Newport Beach, California. Dear Dr. Georgiana, Peter and I have been married for almost 3 years, so I know him pretty well. He's very kind, smart, and funny. At the beginning of our relationship, I was attracted to his exuberance and spontaneity, but over time, I have begun to realize that he often makes decisions that are impulsive and have serious consequences. One time, we had made plans to travel through Southeast Asia, and we both agreed that Peter should make the travel arrangement. He's a much better negotiator than I am, but since we've been together, I have always made our travel and recreation arrangements. Instead of reserving hotels in the locations we planned on visiting, he decided that it would be much more adventurous to make those reservations upon arrival. You can imagine that the trip was a disaster. All of the hotels were fully booked at that time of the year, so we had to go almost an hour south of town to find a room. When I told him how disappointed I was that he did not do what he agreed to do, he told me that he had wanted to surprise me. Instead of taking responsibility for his lack of judgment, he blamed a blog post on a website he had visited, which had raved about the romance and excitement of traveling with minimal planning. Very often, when he makes a mistake, he denies any wrongdoing and gets upset if he thinks I'm criticizing him. Sometimes he tries to get attention by making silly jokes in public and gravitates towards the individuals who look for thrills just like he does. If I comment on it and prevent him from having fun, he gets upset and stays that way for several days. I have learned not to trigger an emotional reaction in him because he has a hard time managing emotions. One time when he did not take the car for repairs as he promised to do before we left for a long weekend, he punished me by inviting his mother, with whom I have a difficult relationship, to stay with us for 2 weeks without consulting me. When I tried to address this issue, he said that he wanted to see his mother and did not think I would get upset so much. I don't know what to do. I do love him, but I'm feeling frustrated and increasingly angry about his behavior. What do you think? Sylvia, we can all understand how frustrating this must be for you. At this point, you must be very realistic about his behavior and the impact it is having on both your life and his. This will help you decide what you want to do about the relationship. Based on your description, Peter very clearly fits the profile of the immature individual. Being in a relationship with this type of person will make you feel tired of arguing, being blamed, being depended on, and having to please. It can also make you feel unloved and resentful. Not an ideal situation for you. Here are some of the traits and behaviors in Peter that fit the profile of an immature individual. He does not accept responsibility for his actions. He blames other people for his failures. He's overly dependent. He's self-centered. He exhibits attention-seeking behavior and demands immediate attention. He seeks constant gratification. He doesn't cope well with change, and he has a hard time controlling emotions. It was probably difficult for you to notice his lack of maturity because you have been handling most of the marriage affairs and unintentionally fed into Peter's dependency and lack of follow-through. Although it came from the heart, it is not in your best interest and has prevented you from seeing who he really is. You did the right thing by giving him the responsibility of planning your trip. Though it may have been a disaster in the moment, there are long-term benefits of having seen what you needed to see. If you were in your early 20s, I would encourage you to slowly increase the amount of responsibility he has in order to teach him some maturity. But at this point, you are not in the business of trying to force this type of major change on a grown man. Expect that it may get worse, as he feels the pressure to be more independent and accountable for his actions. If you're curious, examine his past relationships and find out why they ended. You may want to ask yourself some of the following questions. Were any of his previous partners unhappy about similar issues? How did he manage dependency in those relationships? How independent is he from his parents and siblings, if he has any? If at all, when does he take responsibility for things in his personal or professional relationships? If you find that he does not act in similar ways with other people, it may be that there are specific issues between the two of you that can cause him to act this way. In this case, you may want to engage the help of a psychotherapist that can address the dynamics that make him engage in this behavior. If, on the contrary, you find that he has or has had similar behaviors in other relationships in his life, you're facing deeper issues that will be extremely difficult to change. I would encourage you to seek professional help in deciding what you're willing to negotiate and what you're not. It is important for you to reflect on your expectations of a partner in your life, be honest about what makes you happy and unhappy, and practice setting limits from the beginning of a relationship. Thank you, Sylvia, for sharing this experience and giving me the opportunity to advise you. To everyone following the series, I am honored to be part of your journey to find the right partner. I look forward to sharing future segments with you, connecting in one of my online relationship programs, or having a personalized relationship coaching session. If you have been successful at spotting unhealthy people before they created too much pain in your life, please share your wisdom in the comments section below or on my Facebook page. You can see the answer to many of my subscribers' questions and be notified when I post new segments by signing up to receive my online news bulletin at drgeorgiana.com.